Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Radivision, the new home for entrepreneurship and StoriesLIVE. We have a very special guest joining us today directly from Italy, Christian Fracassi, founder and CEO of Isinnova. Welcome to the show, Christian.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Nima.
So before we start, I'm really curious. My Spanish is good, but I don't read and write or speak Italian. So what did our friend Thomas Edison say behind you?
Yes, it's Thomas Edison phrase. Is ideas without execution are only hallucination.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yes.
So, Christian, let's start off by tell us a little bit about who you are, what you're working on, and what is Isinnova.
Okay. My name is Christian Fracassi. I'm the CEO of Isinnova. I'm an engineer. I'm 37 years old, and I'm just married with Charlotte, which is my wife from 2 years. Awesome. Yes, because it will be the name of one of my ideas. And nothing. Isinnova is a small research center in the north of Italy. We are 14 people. Mostly of them engineer. We are very young. We start from 20 years to 30 years old, and we try to help companies to create a new product and to improve their technical production.
So you're a product idea incubator, is that correct?
Right.
So just so our audience understands, so is it designed specially for the medical field, or do you do products in all fields?
No, we are very specialized in all objects, something that you can touch: motors, bike, bicycle, painting, chemical, nothing digital. We are used we try to create a new product. We love to touch something.
Where does the idea or inspiration typically come from?
Yeah, the idea came from 5 years ago because in Italy there was a very big earthquake, and I was studying engineer, and I had my first idea to build houses very, very fast. So I'm also a very curious person, and I love competition. And I made some competition of new ideas, but it's very difficult for an inventor to develop his idea, because you have to know technical, you have to have technical specialization. You also have to know economic specialization, because you must know how much money do you need to find money, and you also have to have the ability to sell products. So we try to create a company that can help you if you have an idea to project it, to create a prototype, to make a patent, to protect you, and try other people or other companies that want to invest in your idea and want to help you to create the product and sell them.
And so is it mostly other people's ideas and products that you then develop, or sometimes you wake up at 4 a.m. and say, I want to work on this, and we're gonna spend the next month working on a project? How does that work for you?
The 80% of the time is spent to develop ideas of other people, so our customer, and the 20% of our ideas. So when we have new ideas, we try to develop them, and some of us work on our ideas. Mostly of them work on the idea of other. We try to help them to develop their ideas.
So then, just to get a sense, pre-COVID, before COVID, can you give us a couple examples of things that you were working on?
Yes, we were working on a transparent bicycle, and a new way to create bike. Without a frame made of a lot of pieces, but only a transparent sheet that you can cut by laser and mold in a 3D way. So to create the frame of a bike, and it's transparent. It's very, very fine. We will launch it in the next few months on a Kickstarter campaign, probably. So yes. And another big project that we have is in a way to build wood houses in a very fast way. So we are able to create to build the house in less than 1 day, in 5 people, without any competencies in the building sector. So it was an idea made for people that lost their house after the earthquake that arrived here in Italy. So for now, we are creating our 5. So we created for now only 5 houses, but we'll start again the product again.
Wow, that's interesting. And so for you, how do you decide that something is cool or interesting to work on if it's someone else's client? I mean, do you say no sometimes, that no, this is not interesting?
Can you repeat? Sorry, I don't
understand. Comes to you with an idea of, let's say hypothetically speaking, this idea of creating a new way to do a bike. Do you ever say, no, that's not something I want to work on, or it's not interesting or not challenging enough? And then what does that process look like for you? Do you gather as a team and say, okay, this is interesting, we should take this project, or what's that process like for you?
A lot of time, a lot of people say that new ideas was not good because only one idea every 10 ideas can see the market. So but my team is very, very happy when I create a new idea, and always try to help me to create it and develop it. So we are very optimistic, because
that's cool.
If you work on ideas, you must be optimistic.
That's cool. Okay, so then this was before COVID, and then COVID hits, and what happens? What was the aha moment for you guys to start working on products that are related to COVID?
At the beginning of March, in all Italy, the government says that you have to stop your activity, except for the food companies or healthcare companies. So my company was the last day of work, because the day after we have to start to work from our houses, and all my employees was at home, start working at home. But that same days, the director of the newspaper of our city called me and asked me, Christian, do you still have some 3D printer switch on? Because I have an hospital that needs some small pieces of plastic, very easy, don't worry. I needed to create some of them with a 3D printer. Can you help me? And they say, okay, of course, yes, I can help you. Give me the file and I will try to print it. And she gave me a photo. And I say, no, a photo it's not good. It's not good.
That's hilarious.
Yes, and she says me, I give you the contact of the hospital, speak directly with him. So I call the hospital and he says me, we need a lot of Venturi valve, that is this object. And they say, okay, it's a small piece of plastic, but it's not so easy to print it in 3D, because small doesn't mean that it's easy. So I went to the hospital because...
What is that piece? What does it do?
Yes, this piece is a Venturi valve. It's a mixture of oxygen. Here, there is a small tube of oxygen, and thanks to these 2 windows on the back, on the left and the right, you can mix oxygen. So there is pure oxygen here, and here pass through air, and you have in the outlet the air with a lot of oxygen inside. So they have 122 patients in the hospital and only 20 of them. So they need only about 100 new valve. And the right producer was not able to give the pieces in a short time, because the request of this object was increased so much.
Right.
So we went to the hospital. We take one piece, this one, but is also a used piece, so they have to clean it very well before giving me, because it's full of COVID. And we measure it by hand, and we redesign the 3D of the object, and after 2 hours we switch on our 3D printer and we create some prototypes. The day after, we went again to the hospital. We give them 4 prototypes, and they made the test. After 1 hour, the doctor goes out the room and they say, oh, good. The right word was shit. It works. Give me 100 pounds. So, okay, I'll try to do it. We come back again to our office, and with the help of another companies that have a very professional 3D printer, we was able to create 100 pieces in 24 hours. So this is one of the pieces we created. So they look like very similar. They are almost the same piece.
So Christian, the process was less than 1 week. How many days total?
Yeah, in 2 days.
2 days.
Saturday and Sunday.
Wow.
Saturday and Sunday. Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. That's crazy.
Yes, we had a lot of problem also because here, I don't know if I can show you, there is a very small hole. It's 0.6 millimeter. And if it's 0.8 millimeter, doesn't work. So you have to be precise to print it. So the first one was not good. So we print it without a hole, and we create the hole with a micro milling machine that is used in the jewelry sector. So we create one by hand the hole, so it's perfect, and we give to the hospital.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so that was 2 days of work. So then what?
Yeah,
then what happened? That's so crazy. 2 days. Yes. Wow.
At the beginning, we thought that in 2 days we have to help enough. But in the same day, in the Sunday afternoon, a doctor that is a retired doctor, because he's 75 years old, whose name is Renato Favero, that worked in that hospital that we helped, call me and say, I have an idea. I think it's very interesting and I want that you help me. And they say, okay, you have an idea. We are a research center, but now we are closed. It's Sunday. We have to work by home. So I can meet you probably in 1-2 months after. And he says, no, I have no time. I think that my idea is good now. I have to help. You have to help me. And they say, okay. Monday, come on my office, and they open the office.
He's a good negotiator.
Yes, obviously. And so I come back. Some of my engineer, 5 of them, come back in the office. The doctor come here at 8 o'clock in the morning, and he told me, I've read in a lot of newspaper your work, because you replicate the Venturi valve in a very fast way. And I think that in a few days, a lot of hospitals will need not only Venturi valve, but also directly a mask. And I have an idea, but I am not an engineer, so I'm not able to do this. I can show you what I want to do. And he opened his box that he has with him, and he gave me on the table one of them. It's a snorkeling mask, and he says, probably you can transform it into a respiratory one. So I'm not able, but you probably have the competencies. I can help you giving you the medical competencies. So he stay here in my office for 2 hours. He make us a lesson of anatomy. So he told us how lungs works, how alveoli works, how the respiration works, and how the mask, traditional respiratory mask in the hospital works. And he says, okay, now you have all the basic competencies in medicine. You can create my idea. Okay, I'll try. Bye bye, and he went home. So me and my engineer start studying the mask, and we had the idea to create an object that you can connect on the top of the mask, and so you can have the 2 different channels of air. The first one of the inlet of the air, and the second one for the outlet of the air, so you don't have the mixture of them. And we created the object that is in my hand. This is the first piece. In 8 hours, we created, we designed it, and we print with the 3D printer.
Wow.
We create some of them, 3 or 4. I call back at the hospital, and I ask them, do you really need some masks? And they say, okay, probably we will need 20 masks. And at the beginning of March, only 4 hospitals was in danger in Italy. So I suppose that with 100 masks, I can help that hospital. So I give 3 masks to the hospital, and they, in 3 days, make all the tests to understand if it works or not. In that 3 days, the situation became very, very worst. And in the same time, I can speak with the producer of the mask, that is Decathlon, that is a multinational company, and it was very happy to help me, because she gave me all the 3D file, give me 15 masks to make all the tests, and without any NDA agreement, or they give me the file for free. And it was a very, very nice story, because a multinational that can speak with a very, very small company,
right,
and they work together to create something new. And in that 3 days, I started receiving a lot of answer, because probably the first hospital starts speaking with other hospitals that they have a new kind of mask, and they can have in a very short time. And so after 3 days, the same hospital called me, and they say, okay, it works. You can give me 150 masks. I say, wow. Why 100? At the beginning, 3 days ago, you told me 20 masks. So in a short time, I understand that I'm not able to print all the Charlotte valve. The Charlotte is the name of my wife.
Yeah.
And we had a big problem. I spoke with my engineer, and they say, okay, we have to create 100 of them, and we are not able to do, because we have 6 3D printer, but every 3D printer needs 2.5 hours to create one of them. So we have not enough time to help all the people. So what was the idea? The idea was to create a website and insert the file for free. So all the people that want to help can download that kind of file and print with their own 3D printer. So wow, in less than 24 hours, more than 2,600 3D companies download the file and start switch on their 3D printer.
Wow.
And in 2 days, yes, I received more than 2,000 2,000 valve to give for free to the hospital.
Wow. Okay, hold on. So let me. Where were these? Where were they based? Everywhere? Or
yes,
just
at the beginning in the north of Italy, but in less than 24 hours, I received a message from Brazil, and the doctor wrote me, thanks for your ideas. Now 100 patients are using your ideas and are briefing thanks to you. I said, oh my God. So it was incredible.
And so literally you just put up a landing page, put the file there, and you basically crowdsourced the printing of these masks from random people? That is insane. That is so awesome.
Same day, cool. New York Times called me, BBC called me, CNN called me, and so a lot of journal, newspaper, website start speaking about that idea. So my website wasted a lot of time because we had more than 2 million download of the file. And for now, there was used more than 150,000 masks in all over the world.
Wow, that is so cool. I mean, if that's not the essence of entrepreneurship, I don't know what else. What is, like, literally product development, business development, crowdsourcing, and then literally you're giving away the mask. And how long did it take for the 150,000 to be printed? How many days?
I don't know, because I've lost the number of people that was printing them. Also because after the 2 weeks, 3 different companies only in Italy start creating a mold to print them with injection molding. So this valve is the same Charlotte valve, but is not 3D printed, but is injection molding printed. So because in this case, you can print one every 20 seconds. So you can help more people in a lifetime. Wow,
that is so cool. Wow, that's insane. Okay, so you're going really, really fast. I have to say, as far as like, this is like the second week and you already have 2 products out. That's really cool.
My legal consultant want to die because he told me, you are crazy. You are doing nothing good because you are creating an object that can save people, but can also kill people if it doesn't work.
Right.
In only 1 day, probably. And not only, you want to create this object in a 3D printing way. Never before an object 3D printed was used in the hospital for help people. Never using the crowdfunding. So you cannot have the control of the number of pieces and what people are printing them, and you cannot. So you have a lot of problem. But they say, okay, I've seen in the hospital a lot of people that are dying. I'm not put my hand in my pocket and think that nothing is happening. I have to help. So I will try.
So I was going to ask you a question. Is there, I mean, technically, did you have to get them certified or tested, or at this point, was it just do or die to save people's lives? And okay, better than nothing. What did you? What were you thinking as far as like your lawyer's advice about getting sued?
The lawyer advice was not to create the valve, not to sell the valve, not to share nothing, and make all the tests and the certification. But in Italy, you have to imagine that to have a certificate of a medical product, you will need about 15-20 months. So it's not possible.
That's crazy.
No, I think that the 3 days of test of the hospital was enough for me. Because if a doctor says me that it works, I think that he told me in a real way.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I guess if it's saving lives, the rest, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then what happened? This is really interesting.
Giving the file for free, a lot of companies start downloading the file and modify a bit the geometry to perfect it or to make it more easier and so on. I've collected a lot of them, and now we have more than 21 different Charlotte valve in my hand, and this is the best one. So also Ferrari download the Charlotte file and download his version of the Charlotte file. So it's magnific. It's my is this one, and this one is the Ferrari one. But they work at the same time.
And what did Ferrari do?
They created their own version, and they give for free for the hospital. They print them and give for free to the hospital to help other people.
That is so cool. I have to say, those are going to be collector items someday, because those are really cool.
I can say that Ferrari copied me. It's a pleasure for me.
That's hilarious. That is so cool. Okay, and so, like, Christian, by the way, during this time, did you sleep at all?
A bit. I've lost 8 kilos.
Well, that's a good thing. I would love to lose 8 kilos.
We work very fast for 12, 14 hours every day, and also Saturday and Sunday, and for 2 months continuously, because a lot of hospitals all over the world call us and want to say how it works, how to connect the oxygen machine, what is the right pressure inside, how can they clean it, what is the right material to print them. So a lot of questions, and we have to help from Ireland to Philippines to Morocco, Mozambique, Uzbekistan, Colombia, Brazil. Brazil and India are still using them because they are in a very bad situation. So they are the only 2 countries that are still using the Charlotte valve. In Europe, I suppose that no one is now using them, fortunately.
Wow, so it took you a couple of days to design and develop a product that was used for a few months, and then technically, so you're saying in Brazil there's still a shortage, so they're utilizing the valves. That's interesting. Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, that is so cool. Okay, so all right, so now you've built and prototyped it and shipped 2 products, and then then what was the next thing that you thought of, like, because this is interesting how quickly this happens, and so, you know, as an entrepreneur, you know, you always have this grand vision, and then all of a sudden, you know, the path changes and the product changes, but I have to say I haven't seen it go this fast in a long time, so that's awesome.
Yes, also because we are not used to run so fast. And I think that is the only, it will never happen again probably, because we are used to create new ideas, new prototypes. But when you create a prototypes, it never works at the first time. You have to create a second version, a third version, fourth version. Probably after 5 or 6 times, you will have a product that works. In this case, after 8 hours, we have in the first time, the first prototype works. So it probably never happen again. But it was good.
Okay, so then what have you worked on since then?
Sorry?
What have you worked on since the valve? What was the next product?
Yes, the next product, what was? So some countries like Mozambique, and, the poorest country in Africa, mostly of them, call me and say me, okay, the idea is very good. We will use them. We have the snorkeling mask because we are near the sea. So a lot of tourists can give us for free, but we don't have 3D printer. So we are not able to create the Charlotte valve. How can I help you me? And so we think that we can print the valve and send them, but we was in the red area and we had problem in shipping. So what we have done, we prefer to create a small crowdfunding campaign, and we collected 12,000 euro. We bought some 3D printer and we give them for free. So we make the shipment of the 3D printer directly to the hospital, so they can in the first days print the Charlotte valve, but they can use them also after 1 month, after 1 year, if they need other objects, small pieces, they can create themselves. So they are independent. So we prefer to give the 3D printer than give the Charlotte valve.
That's interesting. So now you flip the model around to basically have more production. And so where is that happening?
Yes, they created the valve. They had the mask they use for patient. They give us a video, photos, and they told me, "Thanks you again. You can help me," and we help them with all our help.
Wow, that's insane. How many products have been actually printed since the beginning of COVID, you think?
Charlotte valve, more than 150,000.
Wow, that's crazy. And how many countries? Everyone?
I've lost the number. More than 20, probably.
Wow, that's really cool. Christian, throughout this process, obviously, okay, your lawyer is telling you don't do this. Your wife is mad because she barely gets to see you. But what were you thinking? Like, what was going through your mind, or like, what was the hardest part for you in this process of going so quickly to market with these products?
Yes, the hardest thing was the legal procedure, because at the beginning I was very afraid that the government stopped me or told me to delete the website, or that some people, you have just imagined that this mask cannot save life, can save life. But if you use the mask, you have not 100% the probability to survive to COVID, because it can help you, but it's if you use the mask, you have not the certainty that you will be saved. So if someone dies, can probably attach me in a legal way, because the patient used not a certified mask. So I was very afraid at the beginning of the project of this, because I was working, I was creating something that is not perfect. But yes, I prefer help that not to try. So I try. Unfortunately, everything went good, because a lot of people helped me, doctor helped me, so I was not alone, because we start alone, but after one day, a lot of people start to help me in the legal way, in the production way, in the distribution way, because we also have a lot of problem in distribution. I have more than 10,000 mail. I have received more than 10,000 mail in only 1 week. So and was a lot of hospital that want mask, want to help. So I was not able to read all the mail. So I have 5 people of my team, only 24 hours a day, that only have to read email and answer to them, call the hospital, and so the problem was this one.
Wow. 10,000 emails in 1 week. How big again was your team total?
Sorry?
How many people on your team?
14.
14. Okay, so then 5 become customer support and having to comb through these emails. That is insane. I mean, talk about a pivot, right? As far as, changing the way you operate, the way you communicate, the way you go to market. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what's next for you guys?
Yeah, we work for 2 months only for this kind of project for free. So our company now is trying to recover all the money that we lost, because we lost about 80,000 euro. And now, fortunately, we had a very big diffusion of our name. So company at the beginning, my customer was 50 kilometers far from us. For now, we have some customer in London, one in Brazil, one in Portugal. It's the first time for us that we work abroad, and we are creating new product. Some of them in the COVID sector. So, for example, a new lamp that can treat the air from the pollution. Or we are helping a company that produces the socks, and we are converting it in producing TNT fabric that is used for creating this kind of masks.
Okay.
So we are helping people and helping company to create a new product connected with COVID. But in the future, we probably start again our traditional object.
So during this time, you made no money. You had to cover everybody's cost, but then ultimately it turned out that this was kind of global marketing for you and what you do and the company. So hopefully you get more emails and more calls to do more cool products. In this process,
it's a marketing investment.
Right, definitely. But I mean, look, I know how difficult it is to do a crowdfunding campaign and then the product. So you did a lot of different things very quickly, and so I commend you and give you kudos on that. Let's see. Okay, we have a bunch of questions from the audience, so let's see what they want to know about you and Isinnova. A couple of them we've answered already. I think this was I kind of asked this one, but so Jessica wants to know how you evaluate to build a new product, and what is it based on? Is it your gut feeling, or what gets the engine started on your Ferrari?
At the beginning, we start with our feeling, but after that, we prefer to analyze the idea. So we make three different tests to understand if an idea is good or not. The first one is the intellectual property. So we went in the database of the patent and find if there is similar ideas there are the same ideas patented. Because if there is a patent of another person, you cannot. It's not good that you spend money to create a prototype to project the idea. So if the idea is new, you have other two steps. The first one is the economical one. So how much money do you need to create the idea? And the second one is the technical aspect. Is the idea buildable? So can you create the idea, or your idea is so strange that it's not possible to create it? So do you want a stair that went on Mars, or do you want to create something that is able to create? Because a lot of inventors want to develop the impossible. So they want to create something that with €1 can make your car to travel for miles and miles and miles. So it's not possible.
Right.
So only if you pass these three steps, patent, economical aspect, and the technical aspect, so we start to project and create prototypes.
And then is it usually something that you 3D print? Is that kind of the one of the steps?
Sometimes, not all the times, but we have three different 3D printers, so we use very often.
Awesome. Okay, another question we have. Sandra wants to know, what have you learned in this process?
So what I have learned is that if you ask, you probably will receive more yes than no. So I asked an hospital, even if there was increases, because they was at the top of the problem, to help me to test my idea, and they says, yes, I can help you. I called Decathlon, that is a multinational, and I'm no one because Decathlon doesn't know me. And I told him, can you give me the file of your product without any agreement, without any NDA today? And they say yes. I ask 1,000 people, do you want to switch on your 3D printer and print for me? And they say yes. Probably you have to ask. And you will be surprised that mostly of them will say yes, and no one will say no.
That's good.
And they don't think to be lucky.
It's not luck?
No, I don't think to be lucky, because if you have a good idea, and if you can transmit that you trust in your ideas, people will help you. Also because I never ask money. Probably it's that the point. Because I ask you to help me, not to give me your money.
Right. Yeah. That's definitely true. Okay, we have one more question. I think we kind of answered this, but Sandra also wants to know, what was the hardest part of bringing this new product to market? Like for you, was there ever a time where you thought, okay, I'm going to run out of money, or what was stressing you out in this process?
The hardest part probably is to create product that really the market needs. Because if you have a new idea and the product is new but is useless, or there is not the need on the market, the product it's very difficult to sell it. So it's to create there are a lot of ideas, but good ideas that need not so many.
Right. Yeah, the product market fit, I guess, is important. In this case, I mean, look, times have changed, and the whole world has gone through something that unprecedented in the last few months, and so it's just really cool and awesome to hear the story of how you jumped into the fire and started building stuff, and so again, we want to congratulate you. This is what the show is about. We want to be able to highlight people who are making a difference, building products that are not another video sharing app, and ultimately saving lives. And so Christian, again, thank you so much for the work, for all those hours. Tell Charlotte that we appreciate her sacrifice as well, and it was a pleasure having you on the show, and thank you so much again, and keep up the good work. And if I ever have an idea, I'll reach out. Maybe we can collaborate on something. And by the way, when you go live with the bicycle, send us the link and we'll share it with our audience to help you with the crowdfunding campaign.
Okay, thank you. It's a
Thanks,
pleasure to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, till the next interview, see you later. Peace.